And then this one is just balances on exchange. This isn't really a directional kind of metric like the other two, in the sense that we kind of have a limited data set. And if this chart showed the entire history of balances on exchanges, it basically was in a secular uptrend until March of 2020. And since that point, we've seen the exact opposite. And despite blips here and there with this April and May, with a lot of coins coming on exchanges, it's essentially just been this massive accumulation. Not your keys, not your coins is taking effect, and it looks pretty good to me. And I don't think it's a coincidence that March 2020 was this kind of macro top for balance on exchanges.
I've seen this chart a lot, and I'm not a big fan of this one because the dollar value on chain or on the exchanges is continuing to increase. So it's really, if you look at between March of 2020 and today, it's like 10x more value is on the exchanges. So I see where it is, like in comparison to the long-term holders and these other type of metrics, that this is important to like confirm those other things as well. But overall, I think that this is a not as informational a chart as the others.
Yeah, of course. I agree to an extent. I mean, it's a lot harder to bid up the price than it was in March or April of 2020. But I think it just kind of shows a trend of just maybe not self-sovereign, because a lot of these maybe big institutions are using custodians and whatnot, but it's just kind of a way to say, hey, not all this Bitcoin is for sale either. There's a lot of people that are just holding Bitcoin on Coinbase, and think that they are never going to sell, but it's kind of a measure of what Bitcoin could be sold at the moment. And I think the lower this goes, the better, in my opinion. You'll probably see at some sort of cycle top or local top, we'll probably see that. I would imagine we see some sort of influx into exchanges, but that's just a hunch.
Well, I was just gonna say, I feel like this chart is important. It's definitely not a chart that tells you anything about self-custody of funds, right? But I think it tells you something about intention to sell in like the most rudimentary way. And it probably can definitely show like a flip, right? So when you flip back to coins being added to an exchange, that's probably a bearish sign. But yeah, I mean, I do think it is important, and in combination with these two other charts that show kind of long-term holder sentiment, I mean, it's super bullish. Also, I kind of been pushing this idea of like people are really not bullish enough on the block reward, and that in BTC terms, like we can afford for this stuff to go down in value or down in BTC terms, just because USD terms or buying power wise, it's just gonna go parabolic. So I don't know if you want to like chime in on your thoughts there, but 37 sats is pretty underrated in my opinion.
That was a funny tweet the other week, and I agree to an extent. Yeah, I mean, Bitcoin's engineered to pump forever.